Alrighty, we are back again with Ja-Mel Vinson, whose book Dreamer is, well, by the time this goes out, it will be available on Amazon. So, hooray.
It'll be available in paperback, not hardcover. I don't have a hardcover yet. That takes money. It'll be available, well, it is available in paperback, ebook, and also in a large print version for because I have friends who are legally blind, and I wanted her to be able to read the book too, like actually physically read it instead of listening to the audiobook, which I do want to make, and I have a narrator already picked out. But audiobooks are expensive, like $2,000 to hire this narrator. Yep. It's rough.
Yeah.
So, I'm making a large print version that's, well, in the works now, but by the time this video comes out, it would have already been out for like 2 months at this point. And it really doesn't take that much work. Surprisingly, it doesn't take that much work to like actually do it, but I think that might also just be because I'm not the one printing it. Amazon's the one printing it.
Yay, Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. We don't like them, but we have to use them.
Well, I mean, as far as book publishing goes, they are the ones to use, and yeah. I'm okay with that because it does make it easy.
Yeah, it makes it like we have to use them for book publishing. To not use them would mean losing what I think the figure was like 50% of your audience.
Well, that depends on what your audience uses. I mean, I know a lot of people, if they didn't do Amazon, pretty much all of their revenue would go away.
Yep, that would be me. All of my revenue would go away. Because I've been meaning to try and get into bookstores, but for the past year, I really haven't had a book available. So it's just kind of me been me trying and working on it and looking into it all. But I haven't really looked into it too deeply right now. It's just, I know like the basics, but I haven't really gotten there yet. But even when I got into like a bookstore, Amazon would still be the bulk of my revenue because it's Amazon. But yeah.
Well, that and all the bookstores are kind of closed right now.
Yeah, that's also a thing in it. That's also a thing, I suppose. Hopefully, this whole thing is over by the time you guys are watching this. I'm hoping for the future.
We shall see. At this point, I am just taking things a day at a time.
That's about the best way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so I guess we better get talking about Dreamer then.
Okay, so what would you like to know?
All of the things?
Let me just start with the blurb.
Blurbs are good.
Ever since Joan of Arc in the 1400s, the true Dreamer has protected her universe from countless demonic forces. Maya Hernandez Lilac must continue her ancestors' legacy in spite of everything, including the clone that stole her powers and murdered her grandmother. Over the years, her thousands of dreams have yielded nothing but failure. When her college moving day arrives, a dream involving her clone, Lucen, comes true. Maya, intent on getting her powers back from the clone, starts hunting for her, and along the way, her views on the girl begin to change. But not everyone's willing to let go of the past, particularly Maya's mother, Caitlin. As Maya and Caitlin fight over whether Lucen is still a threat, Maya trains with her now active powers to fulfill her destiny as the true Dreamer, whether she needs to take care of Lucen or not.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, it's so one of the biggest inspirations for Dreamer, particularly in the early days. If you were like, well, I mean, I'm not quite sure who your audience is, if like they've read the book or like really seen anything else from me, but if they have, then if like anyone knows me personally, they would know that one of the biggest inspirations for Dreamer was the TV show Charmed in the 90s with Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, Rose McGowan, and Shannon Doherty. And in that, it was basically these three sister witches who had like this super big strong power, collectively known as the Charmed Ones, which they access, which grew and waned based on particularly their familial relationship and their sisterly bond.
Mm-hmm.
And Maya's basically three Charmed Ones stuffed into a trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
And so essentially that's sort of the whole thing. And because Charmed was so built around family and the family aspect, I knew that I wanted that to be one of the big things that was a factor of Dreama, which is why the True Dreama, it exists and it bounces between the generations. It skips a generation. It goes from grandmother to granddaughter and their granddaughter and their granddaughter. But each generation kind of has their own little push and pull and their own relation to sort of like the legacy, because it changes with every single generation, as all good history should. And so that's really one of the big inspirations for Dreama, and that's it. It really shaped it in the early days, because in the early days, Dreama was kind of more of a hidden magical world type of thing, where they existed in plain sight. But I don't like those because I don't. I actually don't like them because just they make no sense to be. But for me, they don't make sense. I'm not saying that I'll never read a book that has them, but it's just kind of like a gripe with me that it seems like a lot more work to hide your existence, because you have to make laws for protocol for how to hide, and what happens when people break the laws, and also what about little kids who don't know how to use their powers or their magic, and there are just a lot of questions, And
well, theoretically, if the group of people that are trying to hide is large enough, then they would be organized enough to create those laws and whatnot, because the alternative would be bad.
Yeah, I get that. It's just kind of eventually and I'm laughing because my brain just kind of went to a meta thing where I kind of wish there was a book where just the main character was I don't even understand why we have these stupid laws. Eventually they're gonna get revealed. Eventually we're gonna get revealed to the public, because that always ends up happening in these stories.
Well, let's talk about Bigfoot. How many people actually believe in Bigfoot?
I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
Okay, anyways, Dreama is not a hidden magic.
Yes, Dreama is not a hidden will. And there are a lot of things that, Dreama is not a hidden magical world. And it was to start, but then it just kind of sort of gradually shifted out of that, and from a lot of other big unique things specifically for the Dreama world came into it. And because I just wanted to completely buck all of those things out the window, humans also have powers in the Dreama world. Because I mean, why not? Normally books like Harry Potter and stuff like that, they don't. But I'm let's not do that. So humans, they can teleport, they can move stuff with their mind, they can read people's minds, they can control light, and they can also control technology.
Okay, cool.
So it just makes it. So basically, humans can just Okay, so like you know that like thing of like where you're so lazy you just wish you could like float the TV remote over to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, humans don't have to do that. They just have to like point at the TV and then it turns on. And then they can just flip, 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 flip. But yeah.
Huh. All right. I feel like that would be problematic because, getting up and walking around is good for you.
Yeah, they still have to get up at some point. Classes and everything still exist. Colleges is still a thing, but
Okay. Okay. So then in this world, I assume Maya, does she have powers besides her true dreamer powers like everyone else?
yeah, she would have if she hadn't lost them when she was 13. But
Okay.
so Maya is a dreamer, and the dreamers they can I mentioned this in the first interview, but like they can control reality with their mind. And basically whatever they think, it can happen. They just like you could snap and the entire room or like the entire building that you're in could be flying and
Mhm.
like flying through space like a spaceship. And Maya can also control gravity and control vibrations and also light and shadows. And yeah, so it's kind of pretty fun and pretty cool like that. So she does have other powers aside from her true dreamer powers, but the true dreamer powers just kind of they amplify her other powers and they put her really beyond the pale.
Mhm. Mhm. Which then means the villain must be equally dangerous.
Yes. I'm not gonna say how because there are some things that happen in this book, but there's a reason that well, we don't actually know who the main big bad is, but there's a reason that he has been doing this and killing dreamers since the beginning of the universe. He's been doing he's been at this for quite a while.
Yeah. Hence the Joan of Arc reference.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing. And Dreama is actually book one of a five book series and another maybe separate book that takes place some indeterminate amount of time later. I'm not quite sure. I have an idea for like a 6 book sort of thing.
Mhm.
That'll probably be more like a novella. But I am not sure if I'm gonna do it because when I write up my series, I tend to have them want to go like follow a certain story, like the Dreamer series, well, the Dream Come True series, which Dream is the first book of. It follows there's an overarching story to it. Like
Right.
if you follow the subplots and as the subplots become the main plots, there's a general story there. And there's other idea that I have would be basically outside of it, and it could be resolved fairly quickly-ish in about like a book or maybe 2.
Mhm.
So I'm not just want to do it. I do want to make some short stories for the world though. So even after the main series is done, I probably wouldn't be done with Dreamer completely
Sure.
because it's my baby. It's the thing I've been working on since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
You can't just let that go.
No, no, not usually. So how long do you think it'll take for the other 5 books, I guess? Not including the 6th one that may or may not happen.
Um, the other four books in the main, well, the other 4 books in the Dream Come True series, I'm not quite sure how long they'll take. I know people say don't do this, but I do it anyway because ADHD makes everything harder. But I write and I edit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is just kind of like whenever like I read something, sometimes I basically always look back over my work like all the time. So what I could be either writing or editing, and that depends on, quite honestly, the day and the minute and the moment and everything. But so that all depends on that. And I'm working on the second book in the series now, which I'm not sure if I can say the name because I'm not sure if I've revealed it yet to the public. But this is for the YouTube peoples here. The second book in the series, Dark Mother, that is currently in development. I have the first 3 chapters outlined in my handy dandy book here, which you guys can see very slightly. Oops, sorry. Well, that's fine. You didn't need to see it anyway. I don't want to give like spoilers. But Dark Mother, I'm outlining. Well, Dark Mother, I'm not quite outlining fully, but I'm outlining at least to the point where I know where I can like stitch together all the scenes that I've written, because I don't write in order. I write random scenes and like I just basically Frankenstein them together afterwards. So I have to figure out where they're all gonna go and how they're gonna work and everything. And I'm kind of just outlining until I get to that point, and then from there I can just go and write and go from there, basically. Yeah. So I'm not sure how long the books are gonna take because they're gonna take me 6 years, and I want to hopefully have a book out if not every year, then every 2 years if I can.
Sure.
So who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I also have other standalone stories that I'm working on as well, like a book called Champions. And Champions it's basically Legend of Zelda, sorta, but lesbians with enemies to lovers. So we love a good enemies to lovers trope. And so that's kind of basically it. Champions, I'm also working on. I tend to work on multiple projects at the same time, so I could just bounce between them all. And Dark Mother and Champions are my 2 main ones at the moment. And those I'm working on. Those are going well. I'm really, really excited for those. I'm hoping to have one of them either done or either finished and fully written or published by June of next year, so I could hopefully bring it with me to BookCon. But who knows? We'll see, because I don't even know if I'm going to go, because BookCon, being an author at BookCon costs a lot of money. A lot of money.
I've never actually been to BookCon. I'm trying to slowly build up the convention circuit.
BookCon is amazing. It's really, really fun to go. Even just not even as an author, just as a reader. I've gotten so many free books from BookCon. So those are kind of the things that I'm working on now as of this video being watched by the people. So I'm working on those 2 books. And so I'm kind of working on those too.
Very fun. All of the projects, because, who needs free time?
I'm a writer. We don't get free time. Writing is just... There was actually this meme that I saw about it. I don't even know how long ago. But it essentially said that writing is super hard homework every day. If you want fun, if you want to add some fun, throw some glitter in the air.
But glitter takes forever to clean up.
I know, but apparently glitter's fun to some people. I don't know.
This confuses me. But okay, sure. Okay, so for your writing process, you sort of outline after the fact?
It's really variable, and it really depends on, quite honestly me, but I call myself a plantster, so I'm a combination of a planner pantser, but I kind of mostly write by the seat of my pants. I kind of go, I write out like some scenes and stuff like that. I don't, and through that, I kind of sort of know, maybe not everything that's going to happen, but at the very least, some of the events that are going to happen. And then from there, I go and I interview my characters. So I interview my characters so I can learn more about them, learn more about like their personality and everything, because this is still relatively early in the process. Right. And then from the things that they say, I build a pseudo outline of some of the major things that happens in each of their arcs and like combine them. And that's kind of an outline, but it's all in my head because I don't write it out on paper. Because if I write it on paper, I know I'm gonna like not follow it. There was a time that I wrote an outline for just one chapter of a book fairy tale that I will eventually probably one day get back to. I just need to bring in the magic system because it was very big and out there, and I could understand it, but I was worried other people wouldn't be able to understand it because it's just kind of big and out there. And the outline for Fairy Tale was long. It was really long because my chapters are long, but I was only at like 0.5 or something like that. And I'd already reached I'd already reached like the 20 pages that most of my chapters tend to be.
I see. Wow.
Yeah. I'm kind of maybe a little bit of a... Okay. I was about to say I'm an overwriter, but I'm not. I'm an underwriter. I'm a serial underwriter because I always have to go back and do multiple revisions and look backs on my story to try and basically add in, like, you know, people moving so readers don't think we're in a void all the time. And like emotion and, well, more emotion and all these other things to kind of flesh it out more. Sometimes I get lucky and I only really need to do like read one more glide through, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Wow. That sounds extremely like long, but also very interesting.
Never said that I was sane, really, but I never said that I did things the easy way. I never said that.
What fun is easy?
Easy is just a word. I don't understand what it means, but it doesn't sound good. But yeah, my whole process, it's very weird and crazy, and it's probably enough of a horror story that other writers would go, oh my god, how do you function like this? But it works for me, so
if it works, it works.
Yeah. Everyone has their own process. Everyone has their own thing that they do. I don't outline, well, really, but it's fine. I get through it all in my own way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you've got a whole bunch of extra time to do the writing right now. Everyone keeps talking, oh yes, we've got extra time, and I keep thinking, where is this extra time?
Yeah, especially if you're a writer, it's just like you don't. Okay, so I have been home for the past 4 months at this point, because of school stuff with college. I talk about that in like one of my YouTube videos, the one that's actually uploading now to YouTube. And I've been home for the past couple of months, and I've been flipping between working and being a potato in my bed. And it's just kind of like writers really don't have extra time because it's just like well, writing, at least at this time, can be a full-time job because
Oh yeah.
writing takes forever to do. You could spend entire weeks on just one scene if you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a mid-tier problem, I'd say. There are probably also like even worse ones, but I don't know. I'm still pretty young in this whole thing. Well, young in the whole publishing game. I've been writing
Well,
since
you'll
I
figure
don't
it
even
out.
know how long. Yeah, get it going.
Now, when you're stuck on a scene, are there tricks that you use?
When I'm stuck on a scene, I just kind of either switch to a new scene or just switch to a new book. This is why I have multiple books going at the same time. Well, one of the reasons. Another reason is just ADHD. But I have it where I work on multiple books so that if I'm stuck on one, I can jump to the other. And then from there, I can just kind of like work on there until I figure out what I'm doing in the other one. Now, if I get stuck on like all three of the books that I'm working on at the same time, that's an issue. But at that point, I just kind of try and stick with one until I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With Champions, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, you've got 3 projects going?
Right now, yes. Right now, yes, because I'm trying to get Dreama back out and published. But in like 2 months' time, when this video actually goes up, I'll probably maybe only have 2, and maybe a third, which will be a novella. I'm not quite sure what my third project will be. It just kind of my passion just kind of goes wherever, and it jumps around like a hyperactive puppy dog. So it's kind of like, ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know why I made monkey sounds, but you get the point. You get the gist.
Mm-hmm. No, I
So
understand.
I'll be working on in 2 months' time. Maybe it'll just be Dark Mother and Champions, but maybe more. Who knows? But when we get there.
Exciting. Now, is Champions your only standalone?
No, I have multiple. I have a ton of standalones that I have, but I mostly write series. Series. I don't know what the plural is.
Series. You know, like moose
Like,
and moose is the same.
Right. Because series sounds weird, but I I have multiple series that I kind of like do and work on. There's the Dream Come True series. There is the Crystal Water series, which that's a story from the old days of my writing, back when I was like 10. But I haven't really been focusing on it too much because some elements of it kind of ended up making their way into Dreama accidentally. Along with also just elements of Sailor Moon and like Cardcaptor Sakura. So like, if you like magical girl animes like those, Dreama will probably be up your alley because we have angels that have cat forms. They shapeshift into cats and like animals and stuff like that. So they work kind of okay. So that whole thing, it's like so the angel forms that like, the angel so all the dreamers, they have these personal guardian angels that fight with and for them, called dream keepers. And they they stay with them 24/7. They watch them in their dreams to make sure that like, they don't die and all this other stuff. But it would help if like, there was a handy dandy way to know when something was going down. So that's why all the angels, all the dream keepers have decided that they'll stay in like these kind of like small animal forms like cats and dogs and rabbits. Essentially, it's essentially the concept of a familiar for a witch, even though none of the dreamers are witches and we don't have magic. I'd refer to the other video if you want to find out why we don't have magic. It's a thing. But yeah, so they stay in their animal forms most of the time. But whenever, like, a fight's going on or something like that, then they shift to their angel form. And that's when people know, okay, we have to be on alert because something's going on.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Also, I'm now slightly worried about my cat. Because I'm not sure what I would do if she magically like transformed into, big giant fighting angel thing.
At least then you know that you actually have a familiar.
I'm not sure that makes it any better because she likes to sleep on my face.
Sometimes the dream keepers are more pet than friends. I would leave it at that.
Yeah, that'll work. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add, writing related or otherwise?
I don't quite think so. Though, well, I mean, this is kind of more so for you rather than like, everybody. But eventually, I will be getting your book. Probably on like ebook or Kindle. But I will be getting your book and I'll be reading that. And I'll be excited for that. It sounds like it'll be a fun time. It sounds like
all sorts of trouble causing because, writers.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
We make our own fun.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Alrighty, well, it's been super fun talking with you. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you for having me on again. And it's been fun.